All right. Good morning, folks. Welcome in. It is John. It is House Edge Live. It is Friday. It's Friday. My God. Usually I'm off on Fridays, but this week I took a couple of days off. Actually, my door's open. Hold on. Getting that weird. You don't hear it, but I hear like a little echo in the room when the door's open. Anyway, usually I take Fridays off, but today I took a couple of days off, so I thought we would have a little show today. Also, in the old days, if you remember the old Friday Folly shows, we'd have a lot of fun. I would do stupid shit and just kind of fart around. Today, I actually have kind of a serious topic. Not really serious, but more of a topic for you to think about. So if you're in chat, everybody say hi, good morning. And I want you to consider the topic that I titled the show today, which is professional gambling. And I want you to put in chat what you think. And if you're not watching live, obviously not everybody does, put in the comments. What are your thoughts on professional gambling? Can you be a professional gambler? Right. And I mean, like, I'm not talking about the guys that, you know, are grinding poker. It's a different topic. I'm talking about the other games because poker's an outlier in this discussion. I'm talking about regular gambling, going to the casino and gambling, you against the house. Could be sports betting too. But what do you think about the topic? Can you be a professional gambler? And I was actually considering doing like a series of shows on this, but I think we can probably cover it in one day. And I have thoughts on it because there are lots of people out there making lots of claims. And I don't want to call out individuals again. It doesn't really serve any purpose to do that other than to say the guys that you watch on YouTube that are kind of professional gamblers, right? And you know who I'm talking about. They go to the casino, they're lighting $10, $15, $20,000 on fire, making videos, right, that earn enough money to go out there and burn again. If you make a YouTube video of you lighting $10,000 on fire in a casino, that video makes you $15,000 and you go back and you play at $15,000, are you really gambling? That's question number one, I guess, right? Is that really gambling or is that just entertainment funding itself, right? This kind of self-fulfilling thing. I wouldn't consider those guys professional gamblers, even though they do gamble probably more often and with more money than all of us. But are they professional gamblers? I would say the answer to that question is no, right? They technically are risking their own money because they earned it on YouTube, but they earned it on YouTube by fake gambling, right? So I want to leave them out of the discussion, okay? Because don't get caught up in the glitz and glam of that. Also, guys that claim to be and this is why I start guys that claim to be professionals, guys that say I'm the best gambler of all time, I am the greatest, I have never lost in a casino, I have done this for 20 years, and it's not just one person. There's lots of guys that claim this kind of stuff. Are they really able to do it? Are they really able to be professional gamblers? And I want to look at what it takes. I want to look at what it takes to be a pro. And I'm so glad. I was hoping you were going to be here, Ken, because Ken's actually done it. And I'm going to put up some stuff today. And Ken, if I missed anything, you let me know if I missed anything. But I have a point here, and you'll see what this is. Now, part of this discussion revolves around this, like the core knowledge that you can't do it. Hopefully, you can't do it, right? And I have people that actually, leave comments, that I'm too cynical. There are ways to beat the casino every time, all day, forever. And I'm wrong about this slide that you can't win. You can't, I'm telling you can't win. Unless you're cheating, you can't win, right? There's ways to win a lot. There's ways to win 99% of the time, but the 1% you're going to lose, right? You can't always win. And for most people, this is true. The casino is going to try and take all your money. They don't try to take your money. They exist. They're like an ATM. The casino is like a bank. Here's a good analogy for you. The casino is like the world's worst bank. Like you go to the bank with your hard-earned paycheck. You go to work. You make your money. You make your 10 grand in the month. You go to the bank. You deposit 10K on the first of the month. On the 30th of the month, you go to the bank and most of us earn interest, right? I put 10 grand in the bank. I come back. I got $10,027, right? Whatever it is, right? Imagine going to a bank where you put your paycheck in the bank, and at the end of the month you have $9,050 or $9,500 instead of your 10. What happened to my $500? Well, we took it for a service fee. The bank we got to operate the business here. We got to keep the lights on. Got to pay the tellers. Imagine that bank. Would you bank there? That's the casino. They don't have to do anything. You just got to bring your money, and all of a sudden part of your money goes away. That's the way that it works, right? Don't forget that, because the battle that we fight here, it's not really a very fair fight. And again, today's topic is going to be about the whole bridge, right? Your bankroll, your risk, how smart are you? Do you have discipline is really the topic of the day. Do you set and keep goals, and are you emotionally disconnected from all of it? Okay. So Skill has got a great question here, right? And this next slide that I put up is going to really kind of answer your question. And you're going to say to me, it's tough, but it depends what the definition is. Okay. I'm going to give you two definitions. Okay. The real definition is this: can you live on it? That's the question. Can you live on it? Can you stop your job and go live on it? Are you confident enough in what you got? Are you loving your life? I got enough money in the bank. I got enough skills. I got no emotions. I got all the bridge. I got it all. Are you confident enough in that to quit your job and go to the casino every day and make that be the way that you make your living? Can you do that? And what I mean by that is a trick question. Is it physically possible to do it? Maybe is the answer to that question. Can you do it is the real question. Can you do the things that it takes potentially to make it happen? Okay. And Ken, again, if I missed anything here, you can drop it into the chats, right? Number one, can you do it alone? And I have told, and I'm going to walk through here. I've told you my stories so many times, right? When I gamble by myself, I do really good. Right. And I'll be the first one out the gate to talk about his failings, right? When I do this on my regular rhythm, right? When I go by myself in the morning before Kathy gets up, when I was living in Seattle and I could do this, when I was in Jersey and I could do this. I can go to the casino every day in Jersey, right? When I'm in Vegas, right? If I get up, I bring my money, I go to the house, I do my thing, but likely by myself because it's 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning. I don't have distractions. I follow the bridge pretty good. I got no emotions. All that stuff's good, right? If I go with a group, you know me. When I go out with my friends and we're partying and having a fun time, I don't necessarily stick to the bridge. My emotions get involved. I want to high five. I want to hug people. I want to have a good time, right? I don't really have a goal other than to have a great time and maybe hit something big, right? I do have that weird aggressive streak, and that's when it comes out. Like the Jekyll and Hyde of me. The Hyde comes out when I'm playing with friends, or the Jekyll comes out when I'm playing with friends. It's true. I admit it, right? To be a pro, you can really only do it alone. Do you have the ability, number one, physically to go to a casino at the right time to play alone, right? Number two, would you? You got to start ahead, right? The other part of this is you got to have a bankroll to start ahead with, right? You can't just run in there with the only $500 you have and start this process out, right? Do you have a separate bankroll? We had this long discussion a year and a half ago about budgeting and money management and all this kind of stuff. Do you have a separate bankroll with enough money in it to fund you for a while? And for a while, I mean this. And you know that I am a Dave Ramsey guy, right? If everybody who knows me knows that I follow that religiously, right? Which means, if you know me, I've got the money that I live on in my house. I've also got, actually I have 4, but you should have 3 months, 3 months of your living expenses in the bank in case things go south. Do you have that? Because you can't be a professional gambler if you don't. If you don't have enough money to live your regular life for 3, 4, 5, 6 months, probably ahead in the bank, you can't be a professional gambler. You cannot go out there and just go, oh, let's just go. Because while you're learning the ropes, you're going to lose. It's going to you might even flat for a while. You might make nothing for a little bit. Like, welcome to the world of running a business. I ran many businesses, right? And for the first year, 2 years, you pretty much are tied. All the expenses, the income that's coming in, it all washes out and you make nothing for years until it starts to kind of get some momentum. Same thing here. You got to start ahead. Do you have the money to start ahead and fund yourself? Okay. In other words, can you survive when it goes down? Can you survive the downtimes? Which ain't easy. It ain't easy because you're going to have, Ken will tell you, you will have downtimes. Can you survive the downtimes? Does your money that you win, the green, equal more than your losses, the reds? Do you win? I'm not saying more often in terms of times, but does your money work out to where you win more money than you lose? Because that's what it all comes down to, right? On the regular, do you win more money than you lose? That could mean lots of things, right? You can look at that and saying, and I will use my example, okay? If I buy in for 5, and again, when I play alone, you know my solo, everybody knows my solo play, right? When I play alone, it's 330 inside, it's 2 hits. The first hit is a 105 on a number, and the number comes down to a quarter. Or I bring the top 110 down. Either way, I'm bringing back half my money. The second hit, hopefully for another 105, or maybe at worst 70, comes back and I'm done. That play wins 200 to 250, depending on the move I make, and I go home. It's a 50% win. It's a 50% win or it's a 100% loss. That thing wins 2/3 to 70% of the time. Do the math. If I'm winning 50%, 70% of the time, over time I'm ahead. That's how you build a bankroll. You find a way to play that builds a bankroll. There are days where it doesn't work. Going up a line, can I survive the days that it doesn't work? Well, if I have enough bankroll to do that, yes. If I've won a bunch of times in a row, I've got buffer, then yes, I can survive that, right? The money wins greater than losses. Waylon says this a lot too. And if you're playing a ladder, and I think those of you guys who play ladders in the audience can agree with this. If you play a ladder, you can actually lose more often than you win. You can have more losses in a ladder and still have more money in the end. Did you know that? I should do that one of these days. I should put a ladder out here and show you. You can actually lose 6 times, win 4 times, and still be ahead because of the way that laddering works. On either side, positive or negative. You can win less often than you lose and still win more money than you lose in a ladder. You got to know that. You got to have the knowledge to play that way. Do you reinvest your wins? Do you when I ran my businesses, and those of you who run, you know this, right? When you run a business, you reinvest. It isn't like you opened up, a store and every dime that comes in, you're going to your house and buying bling and new cars and shit. Nobody does that until later when the businesses are stable. In the beginning, you're reinvesting it. All your money goes into your staff, into improvements, into inventory, right? Reinvesting your wins in yourself so that my $500 example becomes a $5,000 example. Okay, do you do that? Here's the big thing. Do you run on budget? Right? And Ken is right here. Do you use some kind of an envelope system? Skill says that. Ken agrees. This is the budgeting piece. Do you budget? And again, go back and watch my show on money management when and I have a show where I showed you my bank accounts. I showed you all of them, right? My actual gambling account, my expenses account, my excess account, my profit account. The way that I run my gambling life is like a pro. Now, I don't have $1 million in there, right? But I segment everything. I know where the money I gamble comes from. And when I play on the casino, it goes right back into that same bucket. If there's excess from that bucket, it goes over here. Excess from that bucket goes here. And I kind of wind my way down, Dave Ramsey style. I got my buffer. I got my stake, my 401g, my master bankroll. I've got a profit account and I pay for my expenses from it. Right? John, do not pay to travel or to stay ever out of my actual money in my life. I don't. Gambling pays for that. I got budget set aside for it that I've won into and grown. Are you able to do that? Here's the big question though, right? Because if you're doing this for a living, that budget has to include food. It's got to include rent. It's got to include utilities. It's got to include all that shit, right? If you have kids, it's got to include college money, right? It's got to include emergency money, benefits. Are you putting money aside for healthcare and shit like that? Can you actually are you actually making enough money with this to replace what you get at a job? And the answer probably is no for most of us, right? But let me wind all this down. Hey, Jen, good morning. I'm going to wind all this back. Okay. And I want you to reconsider the question. And here's where where I hope to bring this home today. Reconsider the question of gambling for a living, which is tough, right? Because the last couple things here are hard, right? Replacing your healthcare, replacing your retirement, all that. It's right. That's the hard part. Instead of saying, can you be a professional gambling for a living? Answer the question, can you be a pro? And here's what I mean by that. Is it in your wheelhouse to be a pro? Air quotes. Pro meaning play like a professional. Do all the things I've got laid out here, but do it as a side hustle, right? Grow the bankroll, grow the business, operate it like a business, right? Treat your bank accounts like they're real. Treat yourself like staff, even if it's for $1,000 a month. If your end of the game is my end game is $1,000 a month or $500 a month or whatever it is, a few $100 a week. Can you do all these things without trying to quote unquote live on it? Can you go alone, right? Take your $500 and try to win 60 or 70 bucks, right? Do you have 5-10 grand in the bank to start with? Can that 5 or 10 grand survive a bunch of bad sessions? Are you playing in ways that earn you more money than you lose most of the time? Do you reinvest your wins to grow those bank accounts? Do you run a budget? Do you keep, like I do? I'm not gambling for a living, but I gamble like a professional. I've got enough money in those accounts to cover my travel, to cover my play, to cover everything, right? I'm not living on it. I couldn't quit my job and go, oh, okay, cool. I got the gambling money. I can live on that for a while. No, there's not enough there to do that, but I run it like a little business, right? The benefits to me is that right there. I don't use my gambling money to fund my healthcare. My gambling money bought me a craps table. My gambling money paid for this, all this awesome artwork. This is like $4,000 worth of art on my arm. Gambling paid for that, right? The benefits aren't healthcare and childcare, and it's shit. I buy stuff with my wins. When I have excess, I use it for me, right? We used it to actually pay some of Allie's college. We took a bunch of money out and paid college down, right? I run my gambling life like a pro would, but on this level, not this level. And that's the question. Not so much can you be a pro in terms of can you live on this, but can you operate your gambling life like a pro would? Solo, starting with budget, surviving losses, winning more often than you lose, winning more money than you lose. Are you reinvesting into that thing? Do you keep your money in a budgeted system, your envelope system? What do you do with your wins? Are you treating yourself? Are you taking the wins and doing things with them that are tangible? That's the question. That's the question. And we look at Ken talking about the envelopes, getting out when the getting's good. All of those things lean into this, right? Ken says GTFO all the time. That is your money line. That is getting out when you're ahead, right? Ken's envelopes are reinvesting the wins. The envelope system is a budget of sorts, right? The excess is the benefit. You might keep your excess in a separate envelope so you can play more crazy stuff later. You might take your excess, go buy yourself a car, right? This is what I'm talking about. Can you be a pro? So when I used to call myself pro craps, people thought, my God, are you a professional? No, you're not a professional, but I do this. Pointing at the right thing. It's so hard when things are reversed. I do this. I play like a professional. I treat it like it's a business, unless I'm playing with Jen, right? But that's what I want to get to. And I think everything I talk about on all the show, all the thousands of videos I've done boils down to these concepts, right? Doesn't matter what you're playing on the table. I could show you strategies all day long. Doesn't matter what I show you. It's what do you do with them? That to me makes you a pro or an amateur. And again, don't conflate the terms to mean like professional athlete or an amateur athlete where one's getting paid and one's not. It's about how do you operate? You operate professionally like a pro. That's what these bullet points are for. And I just want you to think about that as you're going through. And we say this a lot. When you watch other channels, right? What are you watching them for? And again, here's more filter of this, right? Do you watch them to find a way to answer one of these questions? Are you looking for somebody to give you the secret to survive? Somebody to give you the secret to win more money than you lose? Someone give you the secret to running a budget? When I watch, and again, I keep mentioning because he's here, Ken is here, right? I watch Ken a lot, right? Not for the strategies. I mean, he's got some good stuff, right? And whatever. But strategy are strategies, right? You watch that because the messaging is be careful, get out, survive, reinvest your wins into the envelopes, run yourself on a budget. Those are the things that, although he's not saying it like I do with these bullet points, it's what he says every single day. And it's the reason why it's must-see TV to me. Nobody else is out there talking about this stuff. Everybody else is out there saying, well, if you just do this, you'll never lose again, right? If people who claimed they never lose, never lost, they wouldn't be doing what they do. They wouldn't still have regular jobs. They wouldn't be running YouTube channels. I can tell you that, because it's freaking hard. All right. That's my soapbox for the day. Okay. Let me check questions. Let me just go through here and see if there's anything to go through today. How many people are watching today? We got 40 people watching. Wow. Okay. 40 people wanted. Here's what's funny. Normally I get 20 people, right? Because I'm doing some dumb strategy and whatever. Today I put be a pro in the title, and here comes everybody, right? Good morning, y'all. Let's go take a look here and see what we have in the chats. And I want to kind of go through, and I'll answer. I got a few minutes. We'll answer as many as we can. So, oh my God, what is your name? GKZ, your work like magic. G keys, your work. G keys, our keys work like magic. Maybe. Oh, G keys. Are you like a locksmith? Am I guessing right? Professional gambling is horrible and not made for everyone. And again, I've interviewed Ken twice on this topic, and Ken has covered it himself. It is not for everybody, and he hated it. Right? Relying on luck to live, whew, it's a bitch. It's a bitch. But you can operate your gambling budgets like we talk about, right? Ken says there are no gamblers professionally. They are marketing people, and I agree with you on that 100%. Canberra, agree. Every strategy has a whack. Pros manage their rack and their bankroll to keep losses low and reap the small wins. You got to be careful with the small wins thing. Okay? Be careful with the small wins thing. I'm going to say it again. Ken did a series where he went, Ken, correct me if I'm wrong, 97 and 0 with the retirement plan before you lost the 10 grand. It was 97 small wins, one catastrophic loss. Now, his small wins added up, because there was 97 of them, to more than what that catastrophic loss was. That's a true statement. He ended up way ahead of that. The catastrophic loss came on number 97, 98. If the catastrophic loss had come on day 3 and you had won 150, 175, 143, and then you lost 10 grand, in that order, it's a whole different conversation. It's when the loss came. That's why I said earlier, can you survive the downtime? Do you have enough buffer to survive that stuff and fight your way back through it again? Because you can go 1, 2, 3 wins, catastrophic loss, 95 wins in a row after that, and be okay in the end. But does your bankroll support it? That's what I mean by playing like a pro. All right, here we go. What does Vic say? There are a lot of dice hustlers out there. Well, there are hustlers everywhere for sure. Let's see. Biloxi G, I paid off my house, got promoted, got divorced. Now you can afford. That's funny. What does Ken say? Yes, you can. But you better have plenty of volume, of Valium. Yeah, I know the Valium. My God, be perfect, and you got to do it alone. This is the thing, right? And I said it before. My mea culpa is always the same thing, right? When I play alone, I'm a whole different guy. If I play with me and one person, a whole different guy. When I'm playing with a group of friends, Mr. Jekyll comes out. And I freely admit that I lose it, right? So that one key point is so important. Victor, I have plenty of retirees with their marker in front of them in the rail and the usual inside bet. They can afford to play that way every day. I don't know. That's how you want to go down in your retirement. That's great. I hear that the New York casino, by the way, is getting like doubled in size, and that's like, it's crazy. That casino is it's cool looking, but man, it's amazing how much money. It's amazing in New York, the city that I'm not going to get political, but the city that voted in a socialist. Everybody's out there willing to gamble all their money away. I don't know. Do the math on that. 40 craps, professional craps is a reality. I don't agree unless you have all the other tenets. Unless you have all the other things I talked about in place, I don't know that it is a reality. I'd love to talk to you about it someday, but I just, man, it's a, I don't know. The math doesn't math on that for sure. Canberra, replace job, not as likely. A side hustle? For sure. I can totally see it as a side hustle. And I've done it as a side hustle for years and years and years, right? I've never tried to go pro official. Tough deal, right? Louis says 50K a year is about $137 a day. That's very exact. Have you done the math on that? It doesn't count expenses. Doesn't count healthcare. God forbid you get sick. If you don't have healthcare, by the way, just so you know, I have healthcare. My wife, I don't have it for my job. My wife has it with her job. I'm diabetic. My medicine, right, without the healthcare is like $3,000 or $4,000 a month. Okay. With the healthcare, it's $150 a month. If you don't have healthcare from a job, you got to account for that as part. If you're going to try and gamble professionally, you're whacking off probably your rent plus before you can even eat. People think that this is easy. It ain't easy. And that's why Ken lived on Valium, right? For sure. Got to have the bankroll, right? Ken's envelope system proven more than a few times that it's possible. You can do it. You can do it, but you got to be smart. What Ken's envelope system is not showing you, by the way, is where the money goes. He's every day stuffing envelopes full of money, right? But he's not simulating taking money out of the envelopes to eat, pay rent, get a wart removed, go to the dentist, retire on, buy birthday presents, spend money on the car. He's not showing you the envelopes ever depleting, right? When he gambled for a living, and when you gamble for a living and you have envelopes, the reality is those envelopes don't stay stuffed. It looks great on YouTube when the envelopes all have $65,000 in them, but the reality is those envelopes are getting emptied out every month because you got to fucking live. That's the hard part of gambling. The easy part is stuffing the envelopes. The hard part is living on what's in them. Very difficult. I'm sure Ken will agree with that at some point. What else is in here? Let's see. Jen, you got to work part-time. There you go. Healthcare, 401k. You got to have those basics covered. You got to. Otherwise you'll die on the vine. Literally. Let's see. That's for Ken. There's some side hustle talk going on. The win's got to go on the S&P index fund. I agree, Jen. That S&P is doing, everything else is getting killed. My S&P accounts are going nowhere but north, which is kind of cool. Yeah, don't even think about trying to make a living. I agree there. Canberra, we do a video, explain the difference between hitting them hard when ahead versus the goal and getting out. 100% will do that. 100%. That's the excess envelope that Ken talks about. When we do it, and again, if you have a goal, let's say my goal is 150 and I win 200, there's $50 in play there. Okay. $50 in play is interesting. On its own in that session, probably not going to do you a whole lot of good, but you start stacking those $50 up into a couple of sessions worth, then you can do different things with it. And I think the GTFO money is the pro stuff, right? Got my bank accounts. I do all my thing. I get in, I hit my goal, and I'm out. That's your GTFO money. Anything above and beyond the GTFO money. And the GTFO money, by the way, the goal is to fill the envelopes back, right? If I pull $500 out of my account and I win 150, $500 goes back into the account. Then the 150 gets divvied up between expenses and excess and profits. It gets divided 3 ways, right? One for expenses so I can travel the next time. One stays in profit, right? That profit money is what I spend for craps tables. The excess money stays for party time. So when I go on a cruise, It's excess money. It's not even my real money. It's all excess money is the cruise money, or when I do a meetup, right? That money, what you're saying, Canberra, is this hit 'em hard money. That's when you go and try to get something done, right? If on the table in a session, you have hit goal and you're still out there and you want to try and hit them hard, then you can do that, but you are letting excess up. You're giving yourself less chance with the excess for later on. But I will do that. It's a great idea. We'll do that for sure. Waylon says, you know what he says, be satisfied. Did I spell? You know what's funny, Jen? Oh my God, you're going to love this. We have this running joke in my house. Oh my God. This is so, I have to take a screenshot of this. Hold on. While we're sitting here, I'm going to take a screenshot of you saying that. Bang. Oh shit, I missed it. I'm going to put it back up again. This is such inside baseball. Oh my God. Actually, let me go back a screen. I'm going to go back a screen and show it with your comment. So hold on. Give me a second here. Put that back up. This is just for me to have fun. Come on. There we go. Command Shift 4. Screenshot. Boom. Okay. The inside joke is this. I used to run a couple businesses. My sister-in-law, Kathy's sister, used to work for me. She was my office manager, and she's amazing, by the way. If anybody needs an office manager or somebody working finance, I know I got a person for you. Char's awesome. But I used to have her because I was still learning how to run a business. I was doing everything. I was writing the code. I was doing support. I was doing the whole thing, right? And I was so busy. I would blast out emails, and I'm doing all this marketing outreach and crap like that. I would have her quickly. I would forward it to her, let her proofread my work, my emails before I sent them out, right? And then she would get them back, and I misspelled benefits every single time. The running joke in my family is John can't spell benefits. Literally, that's the one word I can never spell. That benefits and it's. I never know where the fucking apostrophe goes. The biggest joke in our house, right? I used to have a shirt that had, I forget what it said on it now, but it said I think it said it's all about the benefits, and it's and benefits were both spelled wrong because literally I can't spell that word, and I did it again today. That is so funny. I'm so happy you pointed that out. Char will get a big kick out of that. God, that's too damn funny. All right. Skill answered my question. It is a yes. You can play like a pro and be in growth. Growth means budgeting in the whole package. It's all about focus and discipline. You can play like a pro without going pro, which is the point of this slide here. You can do all of these things. You can grow bankroll. You can do your thing. You can play like a pro without being professional, without having to live on it. Truth, man. Truth. All right. Mild dyslexia. And the benefits, I literally cannot spell it. It's so funny. All right, guys, I got to get out of here. 40 Craps, by the way, says Ken did it. He didn't do it in craps. Ken lived on gambling, but not playing craps all the time. He played some craps, but his game, he'll tell you, was mostly baccarat and blackjack. Mostly those two games because it's a more reliable grind. You can martingale the way he did a little better in those games. So it wasn't just craps. Craps has got this really high volatility swing that other games just don't. And the reason why Ken plays the way Ken plays, don't pass spread, boring stuff, bump on the pickle, because he lived on it. And he knows that you can't just go out there on tilt every day and hope that you're going to survive. You just can't. Remember these tenets up here. Play like a pro every time you go. Try and play like a pro every time you go. This slide here, the bridge slide, to me are the most important things I've probably ever talked about because it does change your mindset from what you see on YouTube to what is reality in the world. And people who claim that they've never lost and they live on this, unless they're doing all of these things and can prove it, they're feeding you a line of bullshit. And so be careful, right? Know the messenger, fly shit pepper. You know the drill, guys. I'm out of here. One last thing before we go. We'll leave it with Lou, good friend Lou. Follow your plan, observe conditions, control the emotions, understanding your games, and keep disciplined. More things about more ways to play like a pro, stay in focus. And you know me, keep it simple, right? Keep things simple. Of all I've learned over the 30 years I've been gambling, specifically the last 5 years of teaching it on YouTube, all this stuff over here boils down to just this. Keep it easy. Keep it repeatable. Understand what you're doing. Make sure that it folds in to your goals. Y'all have a great weekend. I'll see you again on Monday. Love y'all. God bless. I'm out. Bye.